Reacher Season 2 has officially concluded after just 8 episodes, so in today's video, we're recapping and reviewing those 8 episodes to its end. Now, just like Season 1, spoilers do lie ahead. If you're not caught up, go back, watch the episodes, come back here and listen to these thoughts. So, let's go. Oh, and just a little fault that needs to be corrected for the future. My bad on my part. I kept saying the actor's name who portrays Jack Reacher. I called him Alan Ritchson or Richardson multiple times. His name is Alan Ritchson. My bad, enjoy the video. And to kick off the video, what better place to start than talking about the actor himself, Alan Ritchson, back for Season 2 as Jack Reacher. Now, the strong parts of this series are definitely whenever Reacher is on screen himself, and the way he plays off multiple characters, especially the new characters in this season. The villain definitely feels stronger in this season, we'll definitely get to him soon, and the way he bounces off the newer characters in the 1/10th his special unit, I really liked it. Alan Ritchson genuinely plays Reacher to perfection. I may have covered it in Season 1 saying he played him better than Tom Cruise. This season, if you had any doubts that he does, this pretty much perfects his role and cements him as the better Jack Reacher. In my opinion, he gave a stellar performance. Season 1 and Season 2 are both top seasons of the same series, and I really genuinely can't wait to see him in Season 3. Just like Season 1, we had Oscar Fidley and Roscoe Conlon. This season purely stepped up the quality of the side characters. We are starting with Frances Neagley. She was played brilliantly by Maria Sten. She comes off as this brash, kind of egotistical person who can definitely back it up in combat. She's by far Reacher's closest friend. Hell, he might even consider her best friend. She's been shown during parts of Season 1, however, she wasn't too prominent in that season. She fully takes the reins in Season 2, becomes a prominent side character, who I'm genuinely excited to see for in Season 3 of Reacher. She could definitely back it up with her acting chops. Maria Sten really did play her very, very well. I did like her in this season. I would like to see her featured a little more in Season 3, but for the time she's given, she plays very well off Reacher as well as the other characters. I really liked her in this season. Moving on to the second character who's frequently featured in this season, David O'Donnell from the 1/10th, who's portrayed by Sean Sipos, and he really plays off well as this more comedic side of the 1/10th. Now, for the 4 people who are in this season, consisting of Reacher, Neagley, O'Donnell, and Dixon, and trust me, we're getting to her very soon as well, he really plays off well as this over-his-head kind of brash character who was in desperate need of character development from the first episode, who definitely got a good character arc by the end. A family man who was retired, who now jumps back into action to aid Reacher and the rest of them. A close combat kind of fighter who's very good with a switchblade, and loyal to the end. I'm very happy that he got a good ending. I do want to see him in Season 3, perhaps for a more prominent role, and he really played the role very well. I congratulate Sean Sipos for a good role, and I really do like this character too. Rounding out the 1/10th trifecta from Season 2 on Reacher's recurring characters, Carla Dixon, portrayed by who I personally think is the most criminally underrated actress in any TV show, Serinda Swan. I first saw her in Smallville, where I think she did a serviceable job. Then I saw her in Marvel's Inhumans, a questionable series where her performance honestly saved the show for me. Now I heard she was coming back for Reacher Season 2, and my expectations, which were already questionably high, just went through the roof, and she delivered as usual. Her character bounces really well off the other 3. Reacher as a love interest / romantic kind of partner in this season, O'Donnell for the comedy, and Neagley because of the compatible bond of their friendship. Now, the way O'Donnell is good with switchblade, and Reacher is good with close combat, and Neagley is also good with close weapons combat, Dixon could be seen as the one who's good with the guns. She can definitely fend for her own. She had a great callback story when we were introduced to her in episode 2. And I really like the dynamic in the flashbacks, how she has always remained loyal to everyone in the 1/10th, and I really liked her character. Now, me personally, I really want to see, above all else, I want to see her reappear in season 3. Even for one episode to know she's doing fine would be perfectly fine with me. She portrayed her character well, and honestly, she's my favourite character from season 2. However, real quick before we move on to the main antagonist of Reacher season 2, I gotta give a special shout out to a very good hero who was an antagonist turned protagonist, Dominic Lambandozzi, and his portrayal of Guy Russo, an NYPD officer just trying to do right by his city, who eventually goes from tracking down Reacher and his team to Shane Langston himself, knowing the wrongdoings that this guy is doing. Now, he also has a heroic sacrifice in his final episode where he protects one of the people who needs to be protected from a hailstorm of gunfire, giving his life and also pushing Neagley out of her comfort zone weirdly, where he manages to embrace it in his last dying moments, which is why I perfectly think he needs a mention of this series. And we have now reached the big bad of Reacher Season 2, Shane Langston, portrayed by Robert Patrick himself, where he just plays this sleazy, no-good boss who will never get his own hands dirty, but will kill the wrong people for just the right amount of money. He's been killing off the 1/10th members, leaving only Reacher, Dixon, Neagley, and O'Donnell to fend him off. He only comes out of the woodwork in episode 8 in physical appearance. However, we only see him from episodes 1 through 7 on phone calls or running around trying to catch Reacher. He had a very justified kind of death, where if you've seen the season, you know exactly why he dies the way he does, and I really think he portrayed the role well. And to finish out this video with my final thoughts, all I have to say is, the reason Reacher Season 2 does so well is because it expands on what we already know of Jack Reacher, where Ritson is literally just wandering New York at this point, and he needs to call upon his friends, where we are introduced to a whole host of new characters who, like I said, play very well off each other. Character-wise, I definitely think Season 2 is stronger over Season 1. However, which season do I prefer more? I'm honestly gonna go with Season 2. I think it had a better villain, the characters were better. Not to take away from Roscoe and Finley, I really love them both. I wish Roscoe could have been featured in this season. And all I gotta say after this, and Neagley's final line, we need to stay in contact more often, all I can say is, bring on Reacher Season 3.